Alright, so this is my final 30 reflection questions. Alright, so starting off, in the backward looking, I'll be doing question number one to start off. So, how much did you know about starting a business before you started? Um, Honestly, before we started, like, I know in marketing we did some things where we kind of had to come up with ideas for a business, but I guess we never really got down into the actual logistics of starting a business, and I hadn't really done anything in the past that was about starting a business, so no, I did not know anything going into Thrive. All right, question two: what process did you go through to create your business? So I guess at the beginning of the year, my group, we came up with all of ideas that we could think of, and we ultimately settled on Fly Through at the beginning, and we kind of just took all these different business steps to kind of start creating it, like getting our name registered, getting a bank account, stuff like that, trying to reach out to different people, talking to our mentors, um, just kind of got our feet off the ground a little bit before I ran into the problem of trying to code. Okay, question three: have you done a similar kind of work in the past? Um, no, again, I don't think so. I didn't really know much about starting a business before Thrive, so Thrive was kind of the first real opportunity for me to kind of get into the business world or entrepreneurship side of the world. All right, question four: in what ways have you applied the entrepreneurial mindset to your business/life? Um, I think in the business, especially when we pivoted in the winter to change to Web3 Creative, um, just being able, well, also with Fly Through, just kind of going out there and trying to reach out to people who might be interested in working with us, just building a lot of different connections was really helpful, both for Fly Through and for Web3 Creative. But yeah, I'd say that's about it for that. All right, question seven: what resources did you use throughout the year? Which ones were especially helpful? Which ones would you use again? Um, I think I'd say that mentors were probably what we used the most. I mean, we had four, so more than any other group, and they were all really helpful. Like both with Fly Through and with Web3 Creative, especially on Fly Through, just like they were willing to go out of their way to help us come up with ideas and help us like trying to teach us how to code and try and meet new people for to try and like code for us and just different connections we could have with people in the fast food industry. Like it's how we met with the owner of like a bunch of Burger Kings, like through Melissa. She knew him. Um, and I think just the fact that we were in Thrive, like that's its own resource, having 3 hours a day, basically every day, to just like work on the business, like that's extremely valuable. And if it was just 1 hour a day, there's no way we could have gotten done what we did get done. All right, so moving to inward looking. Question eight: how do you feel about the work with Thrive? What parts of it do you particularly like, dislike? Why? What did you do or slash enjoy? I felt pretty good about my work in Thrive. I mean, like I thought I worked like pretty hard during the fly through. I think we probably could have worked harder in terms of trying to learn how to code, but um, like I think we did a good job. Like we reached out to a lot of people, we made a lot of different connections, and then with Webster Creative, that was a good opportunity for us too with the winter walk. Just kind of spending our time making those signs, not wasting time. Um, I also just like being in Thrive. Yeah, I mean, like I love being in there. Just like the environment was great. Didn't feel like school. Felt like we were actually, in our own office space. Doing our own thing, not having to worry about anything else. Um, and honestly, like it wasn't really that. I didn't. I don't think there was anything I disliked really. It was all just a great experience for me. All right, question nine: what was especially satisfying to you about the process? For me, I think it was just being able to come to Thrive every day, not going to school, and just walking in the door every day and knowing that, like, I'm running a business with, like, three of my friends. It's kind of crazy to think about. I never thought I'd be doing that in high school, but it was just very satisfying to walk through that door every morning. Number 11, what were goals for your business or time in Thrive? Did your goals change as you worked on it? Did you meet your goals? I guess when I signed up for Thrive, my goal was to carry on the idea of fly through, um, and kind of make it a reality. And I think, I mean, though we tried for all of the first semester, it wasn't exactly necessarily an attainable goal for a 1 year class. But I mean, again, we built connections through that, and it was, I wouldn't say it was a waste of time at all, just by everything we learned through that. But I mean, no, we didn't meet the goal of actually creating the app, but I think, yeah, the experience we learned was more valuable in the end. And also with Webster Creative, we did not reach our profit goal, but that was because of school getting shut down. Question 14, have you changed any ideas you used to have about yourself or the future? I guess kind of so. Like, I think even during marketing, like I was interested in business, but I've also been like interested in architecture. Like I love kind of like just drawing things or designing things. Like if I'm like doodling or whatever, and I mean, I love seeing good architecture. You know, driving around looking at homes or different buildings. But now that going through Thrive, I mean, like I'm going to be majoring in business administration in college. I think it's the right path for me. It's just something I've really loved it, like every minute of Thrive. So I think it's the right career choice for me. And yeah, it kind of goes along with 15. How did these changes come about? Just being in Thrive kind of put me down this path of wanting to go into business. All right, outward looking. 16. Did you/your team do your work the way other teams did theirs? And 17 is, in what ways did you do it differently? Um, I don't think, I mean, like, we didn't really work similarly to the other teams. I mean, all the other teams had their different businesses, obviously. But I think what kind of set us apart more, especially during the fly through, was just going out and building lots of connections. Like I know the other groups had their respective connections, but I think we reached out to more people than any other group did. That's probably the main difference. But once we started working on Web through Creative, that was a more similar process to both. Stickers and It Happens. So that was kind of a similar where, you know, we go out and buy the product that we need to make, or buy the resources we need to make the product, and then kind of produce it and sell it to our customers. Number 19, if you were a mentor, what comments would you make about your team? I think just based on my personal thoughts, I thought most of the time we did work well. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, there were definitely times where we kind of slacked off a little bit. But honestly, if I was a mentor, I think I'd be kind of impressed with our team just based on the fact that, you know, we tried so long on fly through and didn't end up working, but we were able to pivot kind of like after about a week of thought and then just like kick up Web through Creative like in about a week and just start producing those signs and selling them. Just like we sold them really quickly. So I think I'd be proud about that if I was a mentor. Number 20, in what ways did your work meet the goals, standards you established with your mentors? I think all of our mentors expected us to be hardworking and not slacking off. Like, they wanted us to kind of get a feel for what it's like to be in the business world, as that's what all of them are doing. But, so I think we met our goals in that way, where most of the time we were working hard, and we kind of got an idea of what it's like in the real business world. But, I think, yeah, that would pretty much be good. And then 21, in what ways did it not meet those goals or standards from the mentors? I think, especially a couple of our mentors, they were a little disappointed that we did not abandon, but we pivoted from fly through after winter break. I guess to them it seemed like we were giving up, and I think they had in their minds that we were just going to be continuing it the whole year. They didn't want us going off to kind of do something that was like malleable, like for profit, like Web3 Creative. But I feel like once we kind of got going in Web3 Creative, they were more supportive of it. I mean, like, it's not like our work was easy. Like, we were busy all the time. We weren't really wasting time with Web3 Creative. All right, and on the forward looking, 23, one thing I would like to improve on is, I think just kind of maybe more leadership skills. Like, I know I'm not like the most talkative person per se, but I think in business, like you obviously you need to be. I mean, you need to be able to talk to people, and I'm fine with talking to people, like one on one, like no matter who they are, like they could be the owner of a business or just someone else. I'm totally fine with that, but just being able to kind of take a leadership role in any situation I'm in, I think that is something I could definitely work on. 24. What would you change if you had the chance to do this year over again? I think if I knew before Thrive started that coding was going to be such an issue for fly through, I think it would have been nice to. It would have been nice to know that, obviously, but just um, to do Webster Creative from the start, because we made through the Webster Winter Walk, and then about the month and a half we sold signs in the winter / early spring before break. We made over $1,000, and I think if we had all winter, or say not all winter, all first semester, it's a good 5 months to sell signs. I think we could have probably made over $3,000, especially if we didn't get sent home from school because of Corona. But yeah, I think that's the one thing I would change. 26. What's one goal you'd like to set for yourself for next time? Again, back onto 23, just kind of being a better leader, like taking on that leadership role better, being able to kind of take control of any situation and try and get the best of it for our group. 27. What would you like to spend more time on in school, college, or the future? I think I can definitely in college get more experiences like Thrive, like not just taking standard business classes, but being able to go out in the real world, meet entrepreneurs, meet people that own businesses, build connections, maybe even get in another incubator where I can try and start another business. I think that's just really valuable, and I've enjoyed all of it as well. And finally, 30, what advice would you share for an incoming Thrive entrepreneur? I'd say don't give up if your idea doesn't work at first. Like, kind of work through it, get over those first few hurdles, and then if you really come up to a roadblock like I did with coding, with fly through, then it's okay to pivot, but don't give up right away. Like, if you come into a hurdle, it's just try and get over that hurdle. Like, the first few, they're not going to be big challenges. It'll be a bit further down the road. So yeah, and my advice: don't give up right away. All right, and that's my final reflection questions. Thank you, Miss Phoebe. I had so much fun this year. In Thrive. I wish I could do it again. I know I'm gonna miss it, and I hope you have a good summer. And I hope you can see you sometime this summer. Thank you.